Have you ever discovered that you have an annoying habit? A few years back, I was experimenting with making little short videos, and I would just carry my camera as I walked to and from the gym. And what I noticed was that I was saying, a lot during these little videos. It seemed like every 5-6 sentences, actually. It was pretty noticeable, and I'd never known that I did that. Once I heard it, I couldn't unhear it. But here's the interesting thing. Just by becoming aware of that verbal tic that I had, started to change how often it occurred. I mentioned in a previous episode that Robert Epstein, PhD, a psychologist and professor, had said that anytime you bring awareness to a behavior, you will get better at it. Virtually every single time. And it will move in the direction that you want it to move. If you're trying to eliminate that behavior, you'll start doing it less. If you want to increase the behavior, you'll start doing it more. So regardless what you're trying to do with the behavior, awareness alone creates change. But there is a way to supercharge this effect. Hey there, it's me, Core, and you're listening to Exercising Self-Control from Fitness to Flourishing. There are a few steps that will help with this process. Step 1, notice what you're doing. Research shows that when we consciously observe our behaviors, they begin to shift in the direction we desire. This works, as I said, for both behaviors you want to increase and those you want to decrease. So here are some examples. You want better posture? Simply checking in with your body position throughout the day will naturally lead to standing straighter. Trying to reduce the amount of time you're on your phone? Just noticing each time you reach for your device will make you pause and reconsider. Working on eating healthier? Pay attention to how often you actually eat those healthy choices, and you will eat more of them. The key is moving behaviors from non-conscious to conscious awareness. When something shifts from automatic pilot to deliberate conscious choice, you gain control over it. Step 2, count. Measurement accelerates progress. Here's where it gets interesting. Instead of just noticing the behavior, start counting. Behavioral researchers have found that tracking a behavior numerically can double or triple the rate of improvement. Now, why is that? It's because numbers don't lie. It's an objective measure of what's actually happening. So how can you do this? You can just keep a small notebook or an index card and just make little check marks or hash marks. You can get an app, install it on your phone, and use it to track the number of days in a row or the number of times during a day you actually do the behavior. You can wear a rubber band on your wrist, and every time you do a behavior that you're counting, switch it from one wrist to the other, and then make note of how often that happens. So for example, if you wanted to drink more water, you could start making marks on an index card each time you finish a glass. Within a week, you might go from drinking 2 or 3 glasses to consistently hitting 5 or 6. The act of tracking makes you competitive with yourself. The third step is review. Feedback maximizes results. This final step is the multiplier. You need to review the numbers. This leverages the awareness of what the numbers mean over time. Daily, the numbers can move up, down, or not at all. It takes a longer time frame to notice the trending direction of the behavior you're tracking. When it's not moving or going in the opposite direction to the one that you want, it's time to reevaluate. 2 areas of focus work well here. 1, your own level of effort and commitment. 2, the circumstances surrounding the behavior you're tracking. If you're not making any effort and have lost the commitment to changing your behavior, it likely won't work. Is it important enough to you? Counting isn't magic. Your intention is what drives the numbers up or down. And it's not the numbers exactly, is it? It's your behavior. If your behavior isn't changing, you may not care enough, and that's okay. If the circumstances have shifted in a big way, for example, maybe there is a change in your work responsibilities, or you have sustained an injury, then your priorities may have shifted. Again, that's okay. It's something to be aware of going forward. When the numbers are trending in the direction you want, that can be the most motivating experience, driving the change even faster. There was a study done by Teresa Amabile and Stephen Kramer in the Harvard Business Review, published in 2011. They discovered what they called the progress principle. They followed up with a book by the same name. Their conclusion suggests there is nothing as motivating as experience progress as you work toward an important goal. Reviewing the numbers once a week is a great way to see what's happening with your progress. So this framework leverages 3 psychological principles. One is the Hawthorne effect. We modify behaviors simply because we know they're being observed, even if it's just ourselves observing them. 2, feedback loops. Counting provides immediate, objective feedback that our brains use to adjust behavior. And that's daily feedback, and then that longer term, weekly feedback. And then the third is personal accountability. When you take accountability for your own behavior and the goals that you have behind those behaviors, you will take your behaviors more seriously and you will pay attention, making the changes that you believe will work. So here's what you can do. Pick one behavior, start with one, and apply this framework for the next week. Start small. For example, track your daily steps. You can count how many times you eat vegetables during the day. Note how many times you work out over a week. Or if you're exercising briefly before you eat, as I suggested is a good idea in Mimic Your Ancestors Before Eating, track how often you do that during a day. You don't even need to try to change the behavior at first. Just count. You will see shifts within days. As for what happened to me, just by recording myself speaking on video, the number of times that I said, started to drop. I would notice it as I was saying it on camera, and I'd laugh about it, and then over time, it stopped. The beauty of this method is its simplicity. No complex systems, no expensive programs, just you, your awareness, and as simple as a pen and a paper. That's it for today. Catch you next time.